Hello friends, welcome back to another Dota 2 video, part of the Noob Mistakes series. This is a noob mistake that I want to talk about. This is a big one, and it is in a very popular role. It's in the carry role. And I would say that from my experience, from what I can at least think of from the, off the top of my head, and at least the last couple of weeks of theory crafting noob mistakes, I don't think there's a bigger noob mistake for carry players than this one. And that mistake is not leaving your lane. And I will show you, or I will talk about the situation in which you should leave your lane, the situation in which you shouldn't leave your lane. But first, I want to show you an example of somebody making this mistake, just so we can be absolutely, clear what the hell is going on here. Okay, so the guy that we're going to be taking a look at is this Juggernaut player here. Just for reference, this is Archon, Ancient, mid-tier. This is an average pup. This is an average rated pup, I would say. Maybe a little above average. So this guy's decent, but still this mistake, it is very common, even up until low immortal. So here we have a Juggernaut. He's not doing bad in this lane. You can see that the enemy axe that's up against him is only 9-1 to his 16-3. In fact, Jug actually has a kill. So even in games where you are ahead and you have an advantage in the lane, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to stay there permanently. I feel like carry players, they have this mentality that because the safe lane is called the safe lane, and because they're the carry who's supposed to carry the game, they're supposed to be this big Chad type character, they feel like they have to keep going back to the lane. It's almost like a psychological thing more than it is a logical one. Okay, here's the really important moment. So he's low HP, no mana to use Healing Ward, no regen, his courier's dead, things are looking bleak, and then Shadow Demon TPs away. So his support goes to help another lane, which is very reasonable. This happens in tons of games. This is okay. Even if you're winning, if you're losing, it doesn't matter. A lot of people would like to blame the support for this play, but this is a very common thing. No big deal. However, our boy, he stays here. And I don't actually mind what's happening right now, because what the hell is he going to do? Is he going to, TP out? He's got no TP. Is he going to go run into the lane and start CSing creeps? He's got no regen, so he's going to die if he does that. So sitting in the trees and soaking that creep wave is actually perfectly okay. It's a tough situation, and, obviously earlier on in the game, you would have liked to, gotten more regen, so that way we're not in this scenario in the first place. But now you can kind of feel the pressure mounting. Even from watching the replay, you can feel the pressure that this guy is under. And surely he feels it in the game. Especially now. So he's getting dove. His SD is not there to help him. Nobody's TPing in. There's a bunch of other shit going on in the game. You can see Underlord has went down. All of a sudden, it becomes very clear that this is no longer the safe lane. And this is very typical. This often happens. Offlaners, usually a big reason that these heroes are picked is because at this point in the game, 5 to 10 minutes in, they become really strong. You're up against like a Mars or an Axe, some type of hero like that. They get a level 6. All of a sudden, they can kill you really easily. However, he goes back down to this lane over and over again. His items are looking very bleak. Like, once again, I'm sure this could be better. I'm sure that this could absolutely be better with other items, and maybe it's less of a bad decision. But even still, it's like, the point is, when you get down here, you just feel like shit anyway. So what's the point in being here? You're the carry. You can go anywhere. If you want, the whole game is based off of you farming and you getting huge and you being the insurance policy. So why don't you demand to take mid? Why? I mean, if we even look a couple of moments ago, Sniper was here already. And then he TPs mid. So Jug could go mid and feel absolutely no pressure and absolutely free farm. Sniper could press shrapnel on the wave down here. So if the concern is defending the tower, well, number one, it's 240 HP, so this thing is fucking dead soon anyway. But if the concern is defending the tower, Well, they've got a ton of heroes that can do that. Underlord can TP butt, and he can Dark Rift out. You can send Shadow Demon there, and he uses Shadow Poison to push it out from a distance. And all of a sudden, this Axe hero, who's supposed to be pressuring, is no longer pressuring. Because instead of Axe being down here and owning a carry who's supposed to be farming, he's owning a Shadow Demon who's not supposed to be farming. And the SD, because he can do it from a distance, he will actually be farming. So the thing is, if you want to pressure an Axe, if you want to stop Axe from farming, this could be any other hero other than the Jug. And at this point in the game, they're going to do about equivalent amount of damage, an equivalent amount of damage, I should say, to the Axe. In fact, they're going to do more because Jug has no boots. He's got Perseverance, so he's doing a super greedy build and yet still playing into the hero that has a Vanguard and boots and these very efficient early game items. It's like building to farm, but fighting. And but the thing is, a lot of carry players do it. It's not just on this guy. It's like this old Dota mentality that like you laned against this guy, so you must destroy him. But that's not how it is. It's like you're not supposed to destroy an Axe at this point as a carry. This is when he's strong, not when you're strong. And so, after 3 deaths, finally, okay, he still kind of keeps going down here, but at least he's jungling. At least he's stacking and jungling. So, it took 3 deaths, and if we go to the net worth, it took Axe being the top net worth on the enemy team and 2,000 gold ahead of Juggernaut before Jug makes the right decision, which is just to not go to the shitty lane and go jungle. And it's not even that you should just jungle. You can do anything. You can go push the safe lane tower. You can probably kill a Razor with spin, especially if you use your Underlord spells on him and you glimpse him back. You've got level 3 Thunderstrike. Like, you can kill the Razor. You can go with the Catapult and take this tower. You can go pressure the mid tower, which Sniper was actually able to get on his own. So Jug could have gone there and made that an even easier tower to get. And then Jug could, take the triangle. Like, there's so many plays that he could make. He could take the enemy jungle, steal the enemy bounties. There's a million places he could be, and yet he still chooses to go bot and feed 2,000 gold of an advantage to an Axe. And now all of a sudden, you're dealing with a hero that has more farm than a free farming mid from the offlane. Like, this Axe is going to be a carry because of these deaths, and the game is impossible. And all he needed to do was leave. That's it. So here we are in another replay where we are looking at the exact same hero, Juggernaut, playing in the safe lane, except this time it is going to be Costa Bile playing Juggernaut. He's rank 11, very good at the hero, very good at the game, and this lane is actually going better for him than what we saw from the previous guy. And the reason that that's important, as you can see, he's 2-0-0. The reason that that's important is because this play that he's about to make, you are more likely to do when your lane is going bad. So the fact that Costa Bile is willing to make this play that we're about to see when he's 2-0-0 shows that if you're dying 3 times in your lane, probably on that first death, at least on the second death, you should make a play like this. So let's watch this. So very similar situation. He's doing fine. He's farming comfortably down here. His gyro is kind of rotating out. He's kind of running back to the lane. He's looking to gank. Venno is left solo in this game, so it does currently look a lot easier for the Juggernaut in this situation. But like I said, at a certain point, offlaners just become stronger than carries. Also, lanes break down, and this happens. Mid players rotate, enemy supports rotate, and the very first tower that the enemy team wants to take in a game of Dota 2 is this one. Because this is the easiest tower to take, it opens up this entire jungle right here. There's this massive distance between the tier 1 and the tier 2, which means it's very hard to defend. If you want to TP into the tier 2, you have to TP into the tier 1, which means you're staggering your TPs. And look what he does. He spins, he runs into the trees. I don't know if he healing wards or if he TPs out. He's being greedy here, and he knows that he's being greedy. You could probably ask him. You could legit message the guy and be like, "Hey, dude, what did you think about this scenario?" And he's gonna say, "Yeah, I knew I wanted to leave this lane, but I just wanted to pressure and clear as many creeps as possible before leaving." So you can see that he does exactly that. He baits some spells and he tries to TP out. However, he's a little bit too greedy with it, and he goes down. So The reason that I wanted to show you this, rather than just a carry player playing Jug and leaving before they die, is because a lot of people ask me, whenever I'm showing them something like this, whenever I'm telling them you need to leave the lane as a carry, they say, when do I leave the lane as a carry? What are the telltale signs that I should leave the lane? And the vanilla answer is when you're being pressured. But that's hard to quantify. You know what's not hard to quantify? If you die. If you die, you probably want to leave. And the moment Costabile dies, you can see that I'm looking at his player view right now. His camera starts looking around. His camera starts looking to see where he can go. He runs back towards bot. He realizes it's a bad idea. Maybe he was going to go jungle. He runs towards the mid tower because he sees that Tinker is dead. He sees that it's a little bit low and that his team is there. And he pressures. Spin, take the tower, use the healing ward, clear a creep wave, got that extra tower gold. Then he goes into the enemy jungle and he gets a kill on Monkey King. And so the cool thing about a play like this, and the funny thing about a play like this, is that he left the lane, he went somewhere else and just did some random shit. And basically what this does is it says, okay, whatever formation the enemy team had for their setup and where their heroes were for the lanes, it's going to break. I don't know if you heard me snapping my fingers pathetically, but I did. And but that's going to break. And what that means is he can actually go back to the lane that was otherwise really fucking hard for him to be in. Because now, basically what happens is there's just this like snowball effect of he goes mid, so the enemy team goes mid, he goes bot, enemy team goes bot, he walked bot so he can TP top, and now it's likely that they're eventually going to rotate to him and try to pressure him again. And so it's this constant game of cat and mouse, but he's not letting them take the advantage on him. He's not letting them sit in a lane where it's good for them. He just leaves. He just says, fuck this, and he gets out and he farms elsewhere. And he does stuff elsewhere. All he needed to do was leave. He died once and he left. It was bad, so he left. He didn't accept a shitty scenario because there are so many plays that you can make in Dota that are not just accepting that shitty scenario. We are going to be talking about a middle lane mistake. I know you're thinking, Jenkins, but mid laners don't make mistakes. They're perfect. Well, fuck you. Just kidding. Mid laners are cool. I got no beef against them these days. You know, I'm too old to have beef with those young guns. Anyway, this is going to be about mid laners not leaving their lanes, or I should say, actually, more importantly, not ganking. And I'll show you the exact scenario that I'm talking about. Okay, here we have a Kunkka. This is actually a friend of mine that sent me this replay because this is something that he is personally working on in terms of getting better at the mid lane. So, like I said, there is a choice that you have to make on the mid lane. Either you keep mining gold from the gold mine, that is the million bounty runes and water runes in easy camp. You keep mining that gold, or you use the gold that you've earned to go feed the hungry. And that's the important thing. If there are hungry people on your team, you feed them. If there aren't hungry people on your team, then you're just going to make your teammates obese, which is not good. And so to, make that analogy more obvious, basically if your side lanes are losing horribly, you have to rotate. And what a lot of mid laners don't realize is that whenever both side lanes are feeding, the only strong hero is going to be the mid laner. That's the only way to get back into the game is the mid laner rotating. And so it is currently one of the most griefing things in Dota 2 for a mid laner to refuse to rotate. Okay, so here we are. Kunkka, 2 bracers. Fine, sure. Gets doomed. He doesn't give a shit. That's great. Still waiting to get his boots. Not entirely sure why. Catapult dies. Like, he's literally just farming here. Also, no points in X. So this means that he has resigned himself to not ganking, unless he wants to skill shot, which is cool, but very inconsistent. You're banking on luck, basically, which is not a good thing to do in a game like Dota 2. So he doesn't even set his boots out until full phase boots, which is insanely greedy. And like I said, if you don't have, hungry children on your team, fine, you can be greedy. In fact, you could probably be greedier than this. Maybe he could even get an armlet. But no, he is He's farming the enemy easy camp with boat at this point. At the very least, he went X marks the spot at level 8. And still, just easy camp after easy camp after easy camp. You can see that the gold lead for the enemy team is mounting. The Zeus that's in the off lane is absolutely feeding, 0 and 3. Axe is 2 and 2. He's died twice. Not so good for him. But, like, look where this lane is, man. Look at this. How easy is it to just press TP here, kill the enemy level 7 carry? Do you know how much XP he would get for killing this guy? Way fucking more than boating the enemy easy camp. Like, just about as much as if you were to solo kill the enemy mid. So why is he sitting here? Like, the thing with the mid lane, too, the thing with mid is that this Zeus that's feeding, that's 0 and 3, he can go mid and just press Arc Lightning, and the lane is so short. Like, if I unpause here and then hold Alt, look at how little space there is between the towers. Zeus is not going to die here. So you can put any weak-ass hero here, and they can get free farm. Whereas not any hero can just go and kill this Monkey King right now. In fact, he's getting another kill on Axe. So here's the thing. Here's a really important thing that actually Owie 2000 taught me when this is something that I fucked up, that he was coaching me on. I said something along the lines of like, man, I feel like in these low-rated games, I have to 1v5. I don't know how Miracle does it. I don't know how Sumail does it. It feels so hard to 1v5. And you know what he said to me? He said, Jenkins, they're not 1v5ing. You're thinking about it entirely wrong. They're getting strong and then giving that strength back to their team so that they don't have to 1v5. They have so in other words, if Kunkka goes top and he helps Axe get a little bit of net worth, just one kill, one little bit of an advantage, Axe all of a sudden gets a blink earlier, he has a game, and then Kunkka doesn't have to 1v5 carry this game. The pressure is not all on him. Okay, so here we are in another Kunkka game. Exact same hero, same situation. In fact, he's not even doing as well in the lane. Well, I mean, I suppose you could argue he's got more kills than the other guy that we looked at. Less CS. But he is 33 and 6 to the enemy Tinkers 22 and 5. So he is winning the mid lane on Kunkka. What does he do with that strength? Well, let's watch and find out. So instead of going for 2 bracers and being a greedy person, he gets boots. He gets bracer boots. His Earth Spirit steals his bounty rune right in front of him, and still they go and smoke at 5 minutes 21 seconds on the catapult wave, most importantly. Doesn't even need to use X, just skill shots it because he's rank 6 or something. This is Dark Mago, by the way, in case you're wondering who this is, which is a South American pro player. So he puts pressure on this bot lane, and then he immediately TPs back in. So what this does is it breaks down the lanes. It makes it so that everybody can start rotating. So they rotate onto the Tinker. They kill the Tinker. Very good. Once again, 7 minutes in, this time no catapult wave. He goes bot. I don't know if he ends up getting this kill. The thing is, what a lot of people don't realize too, that I should say here, even though he did get that kill, if he doesn't get the kill, a hero being left at 10% HP, a lot of the time is equivalent to getting a kill on them because they have to walk all the way back to Fountain, use a TP anyway. So they're using really important cooldowns. They're wasting time. You're making people leave the lane, which means, you know, this Elder Titan here can farm this lane instead of just sitting there being pathetic. So each time you show an enemy hero, hey, you push up here, I'm going to kill you. They become scared. They farm less, and you get a 2k gold lead like this. So it's you almost always want to look to rotate, I would say. But you don't always want to rotate. Like, if you have no boots and you TP in to rotate and you get stuck there, it can kind of suck. So it's like people build to set up for this. That's why people go bottle, because you can get the runes. You can have the mana to do this. That's why people don't go 2 bracers and they go bracer phase boots. So that way you can run around and do this. It's like people prepare their builds in order to be able to run around and gank, because it's just the best way to ensure that even when your side lanes are maybe not going so well, which this Elder Titans game is awful, you can still salvage it as a mid laner. The problem that we're going to talk about is not taking a lane. And And to be more specific, it is not taking a lane in a scenario where you're running around underleveled, trying to do stuff when it's just not necessary and not helpful. So first, I want to show you a replay where this happens to a gentleman who is otherwise having a decent game. Okay, so here we have typical laning. Venomancer is the guy that we're going to be taking a look at here. He's playing position 4 Venomancer, which is a little bit weird. Their lane, it's okay. They got Kunkka Veno, lots of harass against Jug. So they're chilling. Nothing too crazy happens at this point. So now we are getting to this point. We are getting to this point where it's 8 minutes in. Kunkka's about to hit level 6. Sniper is jungling because he doesn't want to be sitting in lane against a Batrider. And Venomancer being here is not really going to prevent anything in terms of, let's say the enemy team commits to killing Kunkka. Venomancer's not going to do anything to save from that. Because Jug Spin, it's going to go through all of Venomancer spells. You just dispel all of them. You have nothing to interrupt the shackles. Kunkka's going to die either way, especially when there is a Batrider level 8 doing extremely well versus your sniper mid. Well, not extremely well, but he's doing decently well against a sniper mid. At about 7 to 10 minutes in a game of Dota, the lanes start to break down, and all of a sudden you are this level 4 Venomancer who doesn't feel very useful sitting where you were sitting. You've already got your Kunkka's levels. You've already got your Kunkka's XP. So what do? In this scenario, I would say that mid is the play. And the reason that mid is the play is because poor Sniper doesn't want to leave the mid lane because he's afraid the Batrider is going to push in the tower, push in the creep wave and take the tower. So he doesn't want to leave mid. But Sniper can easily die to Batrider because he just gets a couple napalm stacks on him and lassos him. He's dead. Venomancer, however, has Plague Wards. Batrider cannot run through those without getting slowed to hell. So Venomancer's actually really good to sit in lane versus a Batrider. And then you're putting a level 4 hero against a level 8 hero in lane, and if the level 4 hero can farm versus the level 8 hero, that is really good math. That means the Sniper, who's level 7, can go and put his strength somewhere else, which means he can either jungle and get super farmed because they don't have a jungler, or Sniper can go bot because he's now no longer afraid that Batrider is going to take his tower. So it's one of these things in Dota that it's not only like, are you being greedy and prioritizing yourself on Venomancer and getting your level 6 and getting your levels? It's that you're going mid and you're actually freeing up other people to do stuff as well. So that's a lot of these concepts in Dota, is you don't realize how many levels to it there are of just good things that can happen. So here we are. Venomancer's like, well, what the fuck do I do? I'm going to go, jungle this camp. He kills the camp. Because of that, he can't pull this creep wave. So Batrider comes in. The creep equilibrium is way the hell up here. And, surely they're both dead. And he goes down. And so does Kunkka. Almost. Now, Sniper comes in. He could have done this without Venomancer being there. 100%. In fact, Venomancer could be the one that TP's in. He could TP in after the Sniper. So they get a return kill. So that's actually a good trade, but it only comes because Sniper used his strength bottom. It had nothing to do with Veno. And then he goes bot again. And he's trying. And Kunkka's just like, dude, what are we doing, bro? I'm almost dead. I just got back. Bro. Just kind of standing around, soaking XP. And here's the thing, and I talked about this in the carry not leaving a lane sort of, maybe at the 7-minute mark. Let's say the 7-minute mark. That is as early as he should have left the lane. It's okay. Sometimes you don't realize until a minute after you should have done something. But that's when you should go do it. The problem is when you make the mistake and then make the mistake and then make the mistake over and over again to the point where the game becomes difficult to recover, or at least your impact on the game is not as profoundly high as it could be if you had made the right play, even after failing a couple of times. That's the thing with Dota. And so you can see here, like, they just go down again. And what the hell does Venomancer do when he's just standing in a lane like that? He just dies, he feeds. Finally, he leaves. Once again, 3 deaths. Same thing that we saw in the carry video. 3 deaths is what it seems to take for a lot of these players to realize that they should just go somewhere else. And at this point, the enemy 5 is level 7. The enemy 4 is level 7. I would actually wager that the Invoker's closer to 8. Yeah, he's closer to 8. So he's 2 levels behind the enemy level 4. That's rough, man. I mean, that's the difference between cores and a support, usually. So he's neutered his entire game by going bot over and over again when he's just not useful there, and his matchup was better versus the Bat Rider. He could have just sat versus Bat, and it would have made Bat's game worse, who's the top of net worth other than Sniper. And actually has more XP than the Sniper. Okay, so here we are in a game where we have the exact same hero, Venomancer, this time being played by Dubu, who is rank 16 right now. And he's playing it in the 5 position. So he's supporting a safe lane Medusa. And just for some context on the game, it's going well. Medusa's top of net worth. And Dubu's been doing a good job at keeping the lane equilibrium right in front of the tower, zoning these 2 kind of melee heroes. So I guess that's probably the feeling here, the gut feel, is that, well, it's 2 melee heroes. I see Earthshaker rotating to mid, so it's just Dusa solo versus Abaddon, so he has a reason to leave. And so what does he do? Instead of just sitting bot, and this is the real problem with that previous replay that I didn't get a chance to talk about because I was rambling on about a bunch of other bullshit. The problem is sitting there and soaking XP from somebody, but then offering them no value. It's the combination of those 2 things. It's like, it's the same thing in this game. If he's bot with the Dusa, he's not actually offering the Dusa any value versus an Abaddon. He doesn't do anything. He's going to get equivalent farm. He's going to have equivalent chance of dying against an Abaddon. So if you're not offering value in a lane, why don't you go get value from somewhere else? And so what does Dubu do? So because it's a little bit too early to go take a lane, he follows the Earthshaker, mirrors his movements, makes the Earthshaker TP, and then because, oh, hey, Earthshaker's now in base. He's not going to be bot forever. Earthshaker's missing. Earthshaker's missing. This idiot TP'd home. He jungles. Why can he do this? Once again, because he followed the Earthshaker. He knows that Earthshaker's not going to be bot, so it's a solo Dusa versus Abaddon. And so he can actually jungle, not soak XP from Dusa, and then get some XP of his own. Heads mid, sees the Earthshaker, sees that there's a catapult here that he can go push with, so offering even more value that way. He's actually making a catapult push stronger. Takes the mid lane because Pugna is dead. So this is XP that nobody would be getting otherwise. In fact, on the enemy team, there is nobody mid getting this XP. So a few creeps just died there. No XP whatsoever going to anybody on the enemy team. This is where you get your little advantages in Dota. Now Invoker comes back. I think Dubu still sticks around here because he sees that there's a catapult. So basically he's just saying, okay, if I put my body here and there's a catapult, it's going to force the enemy team to make a rotation to this, and that's why I'm offering some value to my team. This takes pressure away from other places. It forces the Enchantress to come mid, for example. He comes mid because it sounds so stupid, but because Dubu is doing this annoying Plague Ward placement and just sitting mid and poking the tower mid, Enchantress comes mid and they get the kill on Enchantress. Does he offer anything for it? No, not really. He's a Venomancer. But it's because he's there that Ench is there that Pugna can get that kill. And the funny thing is, these 9K MMR replays often look like they're Herald because there's just these crazy 5v5s mid or 3v4s, 4v4s mid because there's this snowball effect of one guy rotates, the other guy mirrors, enemy team tries to rotate more people than the other, another guy mirrors, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of heroes mid. But the point is, the real point here is he offers no value, none whatsoever to Medusa bot. So what does he do? He goes somewhere else where he does offer value. And so now he's just running between lanes. Laning stage has broken down. They have a 2k gold lead. If he had just sat bot, this would be more like a 0k gold lead. And Medusa, instead of being level 9, would be level 6 or level 7. And then Veno would probably be level 6. Instead, you have a level 9 Medusa, so you got 2 or 3 extra levels. Veno's level 5, almost level 6. Everything is better because of this. And Dota 2 is a very snowbally type game, so this matters a lot. It matters a lot.